What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and I got a big one for you today. Firstly, a Scream video not on a Tuesday is cause for celebration in it of itself, but there was a post over on Reddit. Now, I want to make it very, very clear. This does not make it immediately true. I would also, I guess, go to the other side and say it doesn't make it immediately false. Reddit is not the greatest spot for leaks. It's not the worst spot, though. There are, I would say, a handful of sites that are worse that you kind of just go in thinking that they're lying to you, whereas Reddit is kind of in that in-between period. So that's just, that's kind of setting the stage. Basically, what this is another person, only this person has seen the final cut of Scream 2022, of Scream 5, and they have some things to say about it. There's no spoilers, but there are, and well, obviously, I want to read it through to you guys, and we'll talk about it, because this is the final cut. We did actually read a rumor a few months back of a person that was part of a group that saw kind of a rough cut, before there was a lot of the finishing stuff done to the movie, and a lot of the stuff mirrors it. Now, again, does that mean that they are copying that person and they're just lying? Or does that mean that a lot of the stuff the first person said is in fact true, and this person is, saying, yes, that's also true, I saw it as well, and here's what I noticed, okay? So, obviously, there's different ways of looking at it, and we'll address that as the video goes on. Ready? Let's read through this. Hey, everybody. I firstly want to say that I'm not sure if this will be taken down or something. I'm not sure how Reddit works for spoilers, as I've only joined just to write this post. So, apologies if this breaks the rules. I was there to watch the final cut of Scream 2022 when it was screened yesterday for a small number of people. I didn't exactly do a head count, but if I had to guess, I'd say there were around 30 to 40 people there. I'm not going to go into any details regarding myself because I'm not going to risk losing my job, but I know that so many people are itching to know about the movie. Just to clarify, I'm not going to go in depth and home in on huge spoilers, just going to give you a taste for everything, partly because it lessens the chance of me getting the sack if I'm somehow caught, but also more because I can see the amount of effort that has gone into this movie by all parties. I don't want to ruin that for them. I get to view a lot of Paramount movies before their releases, but I can assure you that this was by far the most excited I have ever been for before a preview. I was like a kid in a candy store. I grew up on these movies. I remember watching the original when I was young, then going to bed and hiding under the sheets. Haha. This one is for you, Scream fans. I'll start off by saying this movie is absolutely phenomenal. All aspects of it are just brilliant. I can tell everybody involved has worked so damn hard to ensure that it won't disappoint. All of the new characters are so well built up, and the returning characters are even stronger than they were before. There are two fantastic chase sequences that literally has your heart beating 10 to the dozen. There are so many twists and turns, it truly has you on the edge of your seat the whole way through. It's really intense. The kills in this one are just insane. Ghostface is an animal, and let me just say, he gets bored of his knife a few times. There's so many nice references and callbacks, some of which are visual. Some of the callbacks makes you think it's the closing chapter of the franchise, but by the end you are left thinking, nope, there's still more to come out of this. The opening scene is marvelous. There's a kind of coldness to it similar to the originals, something which the other three entries failed at. It's similar to 96's in many ways actually, but also switches things up to give us something different in the end. This one adopts a more emotional tone, not only with Sidney Dewey and Gale, but with the new characters, particularly Samantha and Tara. Speaking of which, Sidney Dewey and Gale have big roles to play. They aren't left out one bit. I didn't time anything, but it was clear that Sidney had the most screen time out of everybody. Gale, Sam, and Tara got a lot too. Let me just assure you that if you are worried about Sidney, don't be. She is still very much the main character. I'm going to say it right now, and you can feel free to disagree with me when you see the movie for yourselves. I don't think you will. This Scream has the best finale in the entire franchise. It's simply great. Simply great. That's all I have to say. Thanks for reading. Also refrain from DMing me. I won't give you any additional info. So, okay, one more time again. It does not mean this immediately is true. I would also say it doesn't mean this immediately is false. I will say, from my own personal standpoint, I would believe this, and I don't really know why, because I tend to take the more pessimistic approach with these leaks. I kind of believe it, and I would just say it's I don't know, there's a sense around this movie that, well, it's funny because I was going to say there's almost a sense around this movie that there's like no lying. But, when it comes to the movie, lying is like one of the main things the movie has to do to make sure that we are not on its trail, right? So all of this could very well be could be fake, right? One thing I would like to point out in like the fake category is, well, if they've done this for other movies, right? If they've watched numerous Paramount movies, I get what they said, right? They're doing it for Scream fans. That's why they made this post. But you could have done this for the other Paramount movies as well over on Reddit. So, I don't think it's fair to just nonstop attack this person. I also don't think it's fair, though, to just blindly believe them. You know what I mean? Now, let's talk about the similarities, because some of the stuff in here very much is similar to the stuff that the other person said. And I also want to focus on a couple key things that obviously they said. One of the things is the chase sequences. We've heard a lot about the chase sequences. I don't remember if this is the first time we've heard two. Now, I'm not saying there's only two in the entire movie, but two that are fantastic, okay? The other people that have talked about this, I do believe, have talked about the chase sequences, how they are really, really good. So that is something I would check off as there's similarities. There's twists and turns. It truly has you on the edge of the seat the whole way through. We've heard that before, that it's that you're going to be guessing the entire time who did it, right? That's going to be a big thing. So again, similarities. The kills in this are insane. We've heard that before, that this is going to be like a step up. Ghostface is an animal, and let me just say he gets bored of his knife. Now again, the way that's worded, you could say they're copying the last person or they're backing the person up. Because we have heard that Ghostface is going to abandon the knife. He is going to have, he or she, I guess, will have kills with the knife, but there will be kills without the knife as well, okay? And this one, I guess the rest of it that just is exciting to me. That will be the next part. So many nice references and callbacks, some of which are visual. Now, again, I don't know if that means, do we get another Randy videotape, or does that mean visuals as in, like, pictures? Like, do we get a picture of Kirby? Do we get a picture of Randy? Stuff like that. I feel like that, especially with like Martha Meeks, let's say, coming back, I feel like having a picture of her and Randy together makes a lot of sense to show us, like visually show. There's also the possibility of flashbacks, which is something that I've brought up. In fact, I made an entire video on that. I think done right, a flashback could be insanely good. You could even bring back Stu and or Billy. You really, really could. There's obviously weaknesses there and there's ways of messing it up. But I guess, one of the other things I kind of skipped by during this whole recap thing is the person sounds very impressed. Now, again, I don't know if that's biasness kind of showing itself or if they're just genuinely impressed by the end product. I hope that they are right, because the way they talk about it, the movie is absolutely phenomenal. All aspects are brilliant. You can tell they worked hard on it. All the new characters are built up. So basically, there's not a single bad thing in the movie. Now, will this movie come out and be literally the perfect masterpiece? Again, that's the part where it's like, I don't know. I mean, we all hope it is, right? But it didn't make a single mistake to this person. So that's bold. That's very bold. And I don't know if that's biasness or maybe they actually did do it. The opening scene is marvelous. That, the way they talk about it, they say there's a kind of coldness to it, similar to the originals, something where the other three failed. I think that continues to give us confirmation, whether or not this is true or false. I think a lot of us really do believe it's maybe a single person, or we've talked about the opening kill quite a few times. It could be like a cat and mouse game again. So that gets me very, very exciting. It's similar to 96 in many ways, but also switches things up and gives us something different in the end. I feel like they maybe said that to not confuse people, because when you say it like that, you make it sound like, oh, there's two killers, and they make it so that maybe you don't know who won. Like, maybe you can figure out one, but you probably can't figure out the other one. And by them saying the whole ending is different, maybe that's their way of saying, oh, it's not exactly like that. Final things I want to talk about. These things I think are pretty important. Well, some people have pointed out that this is the first time we've ever heard reference to Sam as Samantha. This is the first time I think in writing they've ever called the character that. I wonder if that's because that's what she's called multiple times throughout the movie, or they just want to use like kind of her full name. Obviously, the main three, Sydney, Dewey, and Gale, having very big roles to play. We've heard that before, and I would expect that, right? I think we all expect that. However, this one is what, I mean, I like this. I'm not saying I don't like this, but it does make me kind of question it and question, what exactly is going on here. It was clear that Sydney had the most screen time out of everybody. Now, when I read that first, I thought they meant out of the, OGs, the original three. But then they bring in Gale, Sam, and Tara got a lot too. So it's like, well, wait, you just referenced now two new characters. So you're literally saying Sydney has the most time out of not just the originals, but everybody. Now, I guess notoriously, we know Neve Campbell was on set a very small amount of time. Now, I guess what I would say is, like, if you had her working and you had all the scenes ready, realistically, she was there for what, 3.5 weeks. If you got her for that amount of time, and you worked her to death that time, yeah, she really, I think we've always all assumed that she just flat out can't be in most of the movie because of that, but depends on how much time they are splitting up, because maybe it's not a movie where everybody's all together. If there's scenes with just people in different places, they may all be so even in time, and then you just have a very big amount of time with Sydney that actually is bigger than the individuals split up. You know what I mean? So that's very interesting. I hope this person's right, because as I've said in the past, I really do want Sydney to be in it a lot. I'm not expecting her to be in like 90% of it, but I don't want her to be in like 10%. I don't want her to come in 45 minutes in, be in a couple scenes, leave for another half hour, and then come back for the finale. I don't want something like that. And I don't think we're going to get that anyway. But again, the way this person talks, we may actually get a whole lot more than just that, including saying she is still very much the main character, which again is good. It's good. I think we all know that. It's just, well, how much does being the main character I guess translate to screen time to these directors, you know what I mean? And then they say obviously that this, they say you can disagree when you see the movie, which is a little weird to say. I don't know why you would say that. This Scream has the best finale in the entire franchise. It's simply great, and that's all I have to say. So kind of, weird, I don't know, usage of words there. I don't really know what they're trying to get at there, but again, very cool. I'm excited. This. No doubt, whether this is true or false, this gets me pumped. Just like I assume it gets you guys pumped as well. You know what I mean? It's you can call it fake, you can call it real, but I think it's a lot of love for the movie, if it's true or not, and it's a lot of love for a lot of different aspects. So I'm very excited for it. Here we are, August 1st. Is this the month that we get finally something Scream related? We will see. I'll keep my eyes out for it, and there will most likely be a video, by the way, on Tuesday as well. So make sure, if you haven't already, you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on. If you guys did like me, covering this, leave a like. Final things, I do have all of my other social medias in the description below. My Twitter, if you guys want to check me out there, Podcast Now 15. My second channel, Podcast Now Plus, and we also have Patreon and YouTube memberships. If you guys want to support us financially, you do get exclusive things back for doing that. Thank you all for watching. Happy Sunday, and I'll see you all on the next video.